Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Anthony Grafton, President-elect of the AHA, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the 124th General Meeting of the American Historical Association. Like the AHA itself, the annual meeting is a broad tent. It mirrors a society that involves itself in every aspect of historical research, historical teaching, the uses of history for public interest in the United States and abroad, a society that looks at every period and every continent. In the course of the 3 days of the AHA General Meeting, we look at innovations in undergraduate and graduate teaching, innovations in school teaching. We hear presentations on research of every imaginable kind. Tonight's session is different. Tonight's session allows us to do two things: to hear our president, Barbara Metcalf, give her presidential address, and to recognize with prizes some of the extraordinary achievements of historians during the last year and years past. Some of the most remarkable original monographs, some of the greatest careers devoted to historical research and teaching, and achievements of other kinds, about which you'll hear as we announce the awards. This evening, we're happy to add 3 new awards to those previously given: the Cunningham Prize, the Klein Prize, and the Equity Awards, and I'm happy to say that the recipients for all of them will be here. One more small piece of business before we begin. I'd like to take a moment to announce the establishment of the John F. Richards Prize for South Asian History. This prize is named for John Richards, professor of history at Duke and a leading world historian concentrated on the early modern period. His publications include a path-breaking study of the unending frontier, environmental history of the early modern world, which appeared in 2003, as well as many other distinguished works. Both the quality of his achievement and the importance of the field are reflected in the speed with which this prize took shape, taking less than a year. It's a record for achieving the endowment for a new prize of the American Historical Association, and we'd like to acknowledge particularly the exceptional efforts of Sumit Dua of Rutgers University of New Brunswick and his colleagues on the fundraising committee. To date, the prize has received generous donations from 99 individual members, including many former students and colleagues of Professor Richards. The campaign was topped off by substantial donations from the Council of American Overseas Research Centers and Cambridge University Press. The deadline of submission of entries for the first prize is May 16th, and the first prize will be announced at the 2012 Chicago annual meeting. We encourage you all to tell friends and colleagues in the field that the Richards Prize awaits, and we're very happy to say that Ann Richards is here tonight to celebrate the forming of the prize. I'd like to recognize her and those who gave the prize for a moment. This year, the AHA will award more book prizes than ever before, some 20 of them, recognizing distinguished research and writing in many fields. We want to thank the many, many colleagues who served on the committees that awarded these prizes. It is an extraordinary gift of time and talent and judgment to put yourself on a prize committee, to know that every time you enter the department mailroom, a rain of heavy books will fall upon you, to work through them and to form informed judgments, and we're deeply grateful to our learned colleagues' willingness to do this. If our time and your attention spans were as long as we could wish, we would read the full citation for every prize. Since both are limited, we refer you to the general meeting booklets on your seats, which will give you the full details for each award. 16 winners of book prizes are here tonight to accept. The general meeting booklet contains citations for the 5 who could not attend. I will ask each author to come forward when I read his or her name. The Herbert Baxter Adams Prize. The AHA offers this prize annually for a distinguished book in the field of European history. This book this year looks on ancient, medieval, or early modern European history down to 1815 where eligible. The winner is Carl Upton of New York University for A Forest on the Sea, Environmental Expertise in Renaissance Venice, published by Johns Hopkins University Press. We'll ask the rest of the winners to come up on the left as befits the convictions of the majority here. The Alfred J. Beveridge Award. This award is offered annually for a distinguished book in the history of the United States, Latin America, or Canada from 1492 to the present. The winner this year is J.R. McNeil of Georgetown University for Mosquito Empires, Ecology and War in the Greater Caribbean, 1620 to 1914, published by Cambridge University Press. The Paul Birdsall Prize. This prize is offered biennially for a major work in European military and strategic history. The winner this year is Jonathan Reed Winkler, Wright State University, for Nexus, Strategic Communications and American Security in World War I, published by Harvard University Press. The James Henry Breasted Prize. This prize is offered annually for an outstanding book in any field of history prior to the year 1000. The winner this year is Matthew P. Canepa, University of Minnesota, Twin Cities, for The Two Eyes of the Earth, Art and Ritual of Kingship between Rome and Sasanian Iran, published by the University of California Press. The Albert Corey Prize. The Corey Prize is jointly sponsored with the Canadian Historical Association and is awarded for the best book dealing with the history of Canadian-American relations or the history of both countries. The winner this year is David L. Preston, The Citadel, for The Texture of Contact, European and Indian settler communities on the frontiers of Iroquois, 1667 to 1783, published by the University of Minnesota. The John Edwin Fagg Prize. The Fagg Prize, awarded for the final time this evening, recognizes the best publication in the history of Spanish and Latin American history. The prize was established by a bequest from Professor Fagg, who taught Latin American history at NYU. His bequest did not suffice for a permanent endowment for a prize, but the AHA Council accepted the funds and established an annual prize to be conferred for a 10-year period. I'm happy to say that the association will continue to present 2 awards for which work in Latin American history is eligible, the Albert J. Beveridge Award and the Clarence H. Herring Prize. The winner of the Fagg Prize is Maria M. Portuondo of Johns Hopkins University for Secret Science, Spanish Cosmography in the New World, published by the University of Chicago. The John King Fairbanks Prize in East Asian History. This prize is offered annually for an outstanding book in the history of China proper, Vietnam, Chinese Central Asia, Mongolia, Manchuria, Korea, or Japan since the year 1800. The winner this year is James C. Scott, Yale University, for The Art of Not Being Governed, an anarchist history of upland Southeast Asia, published by Yale University Press. The Leo Kershoy Award. This prize is awarded annually for the most outstanding work published in English on any aspect of 17th and 18th century Western European history. The winner this year is Francesca Trivellato, Yale University, for The Familiarity of Strangers, the Sephardic Diaspora, Livorno, and Cross-Cultural Trade in the Early Modern Period, published by Yale University Press. The Joan Kelly Memorial Prize in Women's History. This prize is offered annually for the book in women's history and/or feminist theory that best reflects the high intellectual and scholarly ideals exemplified by the life and work of Joan Kelly. The winner is Susan Platt, Temple University, for Revolutionary Conception, Women, Fertility, and Family Limitation in America, 1760 to 1820, published for the Omaha Institute of Early American History and Culture by the University of North Carolina Press. The Martin A. Klein Prize in African History. The Klein Prize is awarded for the first time this evening to recognize the most distinguished work of scholarship on African history published in English during the previous calendar year. Submissions focus primarily on continental Africa, including those islands usually treated as countries of Africa, and may deal with any period of African history and come from any discipline that incorporates a historical perspective. The prize is named for Martin A. Klein, who is currently professor of history at the University of Toronto. Funding for the prize was completed thanks to a substantial donation for Dr. Mugo Niaga of California State University at Fullerton and his wife, Dr. Lynette Niaga. Dr. Klein, Dr. Niaga, and Dr. Niaga are all with us this evening, and we ask them to stand so we can recognize them. The inaugural winner of the Klein Prize is Ghislaine Leiden, University of California at Los Angeles, for On Trans-Saharan Trails, Islamic Law, Trade Networks, and Cross-Cultural Exchange in 19th Century Western Africa, published by Cambridge University Press. The Helen and Howard R. Marraro Prize. This prize is given annually for the best book or article on any epoch of Italian cultural history or on Italian-American relations. The winner this year is Stanislaw Pugliese, Hofstra University, for Bitter Spring, A Life of Ignazio Silone, published by Farrar, Straus and Giroux. The George L. Maucy Prize. The Maucy Prize is awarded annually for an outstanding major work of extraordinary scholarly distinction, creativity, and originality in the intellectual and cultural history of Europe since the Renaissance. The winner this year is Suzanne Marchand, Louisiana State University, for German Orientalism in an Age of Empire, published by Cambridge University Press and the German Historical Institute, Washington, D.C.